What's up, Doc? Welcome to the Docs Get Money podcast. Are you a badass doctor killing it professionally and has bigger dreams than just clocking in and out of the hospital? Do you want to leave behind a legacy that is as lit as an HBCU homecoming? Want to know how other doctors are getting to the big bag? That's right, making 5, 6, and 7 figures without putting on the white coat? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you're in the right place. I'm your host, Kimberly, but you can call me Kim or KB. I went from being a burnt out and overwhelmed emergency physician to the founder and CEO of 2 6-figure non-clinical companies and beating burnout along the way. I'm also your business coach, here to help you make money moves to change the world. This podcast isn't just about making money, though. It's about leveling up your life, mindset, and bank account so you can build an empire that's as iconic as Beyonce. You ready? Let's get into it. If you're sitting on a mountain of expertise and wondering if it's possible to replace your clinical income while practicing full-time, I've got news for you. It's not just possible, it can happen in 90 days or less. But only if you create your FIRE offer, your express lane to fast income and a lifestyle that allows you to retire early, all while keeping your day job. Tailored for doctors ready to change lives outside of the exam room, you go from concept to cash in under 90 days as a consultant, coach, or midterm rental business. Think it's a stretch with your schedule? Think again. With the FIRE Offer Combustion Kit, you'll craft your expertise and story into an offer that's too hot to touch and sell it to make your first 4 or 5 figures. Ready to change lives and make bank fast? DM the word BURN to me, Dr. Kimberly, at Dr. Kimberly B on Instagram, and let's start a fire. What's up, Doc? Welcome back to another episode of the Docs Get Money podcast. It feels so good to say that. It's been, weeks since I've been back in the podcasting chair. So I'm so glad to be back with you today. I hope you guys are doing awesome and having an amazing summer so far. I'm back off of maternity leave. I have started working part-time clinically again, and I'm jumping back into my business coaching and supporting you. So I am so glad, like I said, to be here back in the podcast. And I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this, but today we are podcasting and pumping at the same time because your girl has to multitask now more than ever before. I feel like I'm an ER doctor at home and at work, just because I am pumping and just doing all of the things with my baby girl. So I had Emerald in early May, and now she is almost 2.5 months. She's getting big. She's getting strong. She's so fun. She loves to babble, and she loves her Zen music that we put on for her. She loves to feed. She loves to talk and interact. She's such a beautiful child. I'm so glad that she chose me to be her mom. So so it's amazing to be both now officially an entrepreneur, a business owner, a doctor, a mom, all those titles. And we recently moved, so I'm just catching you guys back up. Maternity leave was a break. I will say that the first couple of weeks, I definitely rested and tried my best, if I could, to take care of myself. But now getting back into the swing of things is amazing. Officially, even though I've been doing stuff for a little while here and there, because I just can't stay away, to be honest with you. So thank you. And I'm glad to be back in the saddle. I hope you've enjoyed all of the episodes and the interviews that I've had with other doctor entrepreneurs in this world, in this space, who are coaching, consulting, just sharing their expertise online. But I'm looking forward to just having you to myself for the next couple of episodes. So if you don't mind, I know you've had a lot of interviews, but I am going to be so thrilled to give to you several solo podcasts where I'm really getting deep and kind of teaching you some things to really make some money when you're not on your clinical job. So today I want to talk about fixing this one step in your business to attract and close better fit clients. If you are trying to close clients before you've confirmed that they're even a fit to work with you inside of your offer, you need to build a better filter. And that starts with how you institute and then conduct discovery calls while you're selling. So here's what I'm talking about. One of my clients brought to me a sales call inside of Ignite, my accelerator for doctor entrepreneurs that are selling their expertise online, whether you're a coach, you're a consultant, all of those other things. And her sales call did not convert. So we reviewed it inside of Sales Call ICU. And guess what? It was a textbook problem that she was having. She made an offer to work with someone that was never going to buy her coaching. And so I want to break down what happened for her on this call today or on our podcast episode today. Because if your sales calls are feeling like they're pulling teeth when it's time to talk about the next step, meaning, you're making the offer and saying, hey, are you in or are you out? Like, let's have the sales conversation. Or if you are continuously having sales conversations with people who are just undercommitting or giving you a lot of let me think about it, you're possibly talking to the wrong people. And that's why you should use a discovery call inside of your selling to actually qualify that person and not to sell them on your offer. So let me talk to you a little bit about how to use this discovery call process. This is exactly how I teach my clients how to sell. This is Sales Call Alchemy 101 here. This is my framework that I teach, my proven sales process of how you actually sign a client, a high ticket client with you in your business. So I want you to stop wasting time on people that are not going to say yes to your offer. Protect your energy and start closing clients more easily and more confidently. So let me get into the nitty gritty of this. So the purpose of a discovery call is where you are going to determine if someone is a good fit to work with you or not. It's not where you're asking someone to make a buying decision. This is truly a call where you're not selling to anyone. You're listening to them. You're going in depth to understand what's their problem. You're trying to understand and diagnose their desires, and share with the client from your perspective what their problem is and if you can even help them to solve it. This is an if conversation. This is not a how conversation or let's work together conversation. This is a realm of discovering the possibilities. And it doesn't matter what you call this call. Let me maybe make that clear. I have called it just a plain old discovery call in the past, but me being fancy, I ended up changing the conversation or the call in my business to a triage call. And so you probably have seen and heard some of my marketing with having, hey, have a triage call with me, because it is just, like I said, it doesn't matter, what you call it, but it is a time where that is set aside that I get a chance to get to know you and see, hey, is this a good fit? I also want to say another reason why I think that discovery calls are probably underrated and need to be instituted more is because we all know in the coaching and consulting industry, there is a trust recession that's happening right now. There's so many people that are burnt out on coaching. They want the help, they want the results, but they have been sold to so much and maybe they've not gotten the result that they have been wanting to achieve, that it takes a lot longer for people to make a decision. And so saying all that to say, they are going to decide, but I think that a discovery call slows down the sales process and it doesn't feel as icky. It doesn't feel as gross to have a conversation with someone when you're just truly just listening to them. Just like just like we are as clinicians, when a patient first comes to us, we're not telling them what the problem is immediately and how to fix it. A lot of times we will listen, order blood work, do our full history and physical, and then have them to come back for possibly treatment options, things like that, etc. Now, I don't do that as an emergency physician. Of course, I got to do all of this, um, right away, pretty much up front. But that's what happens when we are talking to patients. So this is the same thing that we're doing in our business. It's just having conversations where we are listening, where we are understanding where the client is and how we can help them solve their problem that they are having. So, this is where we're going to connect with them. We're going to ask them questions. We're going to get very clear about what their problem is and be very specific about what their problem is. If there is anything that's vague about what they're saying or what we don't understand, this is the time to get clarity, ask deeper questions. If surface or answers are surface level, dig deeper. So some of the questions that we, ask is starting with very open-ended questions, just like we do in the clinic, the office, the hospital, at the patient's bedside. We ask them, what brought you to the hospital today? What brings you in today? Like, you may already know, oh, I'm here for chest pain, or I'm here for my monthly refill of my prescription, or whatever we're seeing them for. It's the same thing on a discovery call, asking open-ended questions and allowing them to fill in and share from their perspective what is happening with their life, their business, whatever the problem is that they're coming to you with. So why did you decide to reach out to me today? Tell me more about what's happening here. How long have you dealt with this? How have you tried to get support around this before? Have you tried to get around support around this before? Asking the questions to understand, is this person ready to have this conversation with you, helps to build trust, and it slows down the process, like I said, and it makes things so much less icky or gross. So that's what we do. That's the purpose of the discovery call, is to tap into the same skills that we use every day at the bedside, but this context is a little bit different. Of course, now we're using these skills inside of our business. So again, another thing that the discovery call, or you want to do as the salesperson in your business, is to think about how you listen to patients. I want you to apply this to your discovery calls or inside of your discovery calls. If people are telling you, oh yeah, I'm having chest pain, but and then this happened, and kind of just rambling, we don't just kind of nod through things. We listen for gaps in information. We notice what doesn't add up. We probe deeper. We are doing our job to really understand fully what the problem is before we start prescribing medication, before we start ordering lab work, etc. and so forth. So that's exactly what a great discovery call sounds like as well too, is that you're not there to impress somebody about, what you have to offer or whatever. You're there to assess, again, their problem. They're there to listen and to hear and to be curious about what is happening to you or happening to them. So again, sales, if I haven't said this, is applied curiosity, meaning that the vast majority of a good sales call, which you'll have later, is being curious and asking great questions and probing deeper and calling out things that don't make sense and being excellent at assessing problems and gaps in information and questioning and probing where things don't make sense or where things just don't feel potentially right, or maybe are unclear, that's what makes your whole sales process a whole lot stronger. So you really want to spend time on discovery calls. I can't emphasize this enough. Listening and actually discovering, hey, if this is going to be a good fit or not, because someone may be specifically telling you, hey, I'm looking for someone to help me with X, right? But your offer specifically deals with Z. That's not going to be compatible. And so that's not someone that maybe even needs to be, like I said, talked to about what it's like to work with you. But you have to discover that inside of a discovery call. So after you have had this discovery call with person, so when I say discovery call, this is usually a 20 to maybe even 30-minute conversation that you're having with people. There should be a clear understanding of knowing if this is someone that is a good fit to work with you, and to hear about your offer, or if you need to, direct them in another way. And so the way I put that in sales call alchemy is if the door is open to having the next call in your process, or if it is closed and you're going to refer them elsewhere, or pivot them in a different direction if they need that. So when do you need to close the door versus open it and invite them to have a different sales call? Of course, or different conversation with someone else potentially. So, of course, if they have a problem that your business solves, of course, help them and invite them to a decision call or a sales call with you. That is the perfect fit. It's a natural fit. If every problem or symptom that they're having or sign that they're having is something that your offer addresses, then that's someone that you definitely want to open the door to work with you. However, if the conversation with this person feels like pulling teeth, meaning like when you are, you know, asking them questions and it's very hard for them to be open with you, even if you've just, called them out on that, maybe this isn't a good fit to work with you. As a coach, as a consultant, as someone that's selling their expertise online, you have to have some level of vulnerability. And if that person is kind of difficult to talk to, then I don't know if that's someone that necessarily is going to be a great fit to work with you in your high touch, high ticket program or offer. So sometimes they can get very resistant or just being vague, or maybe they're just kind of overthinking. Maybe you feel like already you're dragging them through to the solution that they say they want, but maybe they're not ready to actually go for it. Their timeline is maybe years away and not necessarily an immediate issue, then this is somebody that you want to close the door to. If they're kind of talking a good game, but then when it's time to, again, make or put a timeline on when things are going to actually happen, and they're not ready to institute a solution to their problem, or get help with it, then that's someone then clearly you don't want to move forward with. So I would say close the door on that person. If you are finding yourself shifting into, well, let me help you see what's possible, and let me, kind of give you free information, or, you're kind of just giving them information on the call. This feels like more like a Googling session, or maybe you're giving them a pep talk. That's not someone that I think necessarily would be qualified to move forward in your sales process either. So if they're telling you again that maybe they're not sure what they need, or it's, they have not been doing anything as far as a solution is concerned, they're not saying anything about how they are wanting to move forward to get out of this position. Again, these are not people that are qualified to move forward on a sales call with you. So that brings me to what was going on the sales call that my client had. she was on a discovery call with someone who was referred to her through her husband, I believe. And um, she's my client is a life coach, and so this person was, looking for, she thought, a life coach. And on the discovery call, the client was actually saying to her in so many different ways that she was not ready to buy or not ready or looking for someone to help her in her life in a paid way. Specifically, she harped on how she's getting a strong benefit from therapy, that she has been offered or considered life coaching before, but cost was prohibitive to her currently and in the past. She had brought up two different occasions that, people were, or she considered looking at a life coach, or she was approached by a life coach or considered working with a life coach and decided not to do it because of cost, like she said. She also said that she was getting a ton of free value, and she felt like she was getting what she needed from free content online. So she said that she was listening to different life coaches online, on YouTube, on TikTok, Instagram, and she felt like she was getting what she needed. And so if consuming free content is getting what she needs for her, then that's not someone is going to be, ready to invest with you as a coach, a consultant, what have you, and invest 4 or 5 figures in working with you. So listening for those things and those cues or red flags without probing or finding out more information would be awesome. So that would be a situation, and that's what I advise my client inside of Sales Call ICU, is that I wouldn't have even offered her a sales call. Like, I think it was great that she had a discovery call with my client, but I wouldn't even offer her a decision call or a sales call where she decides whether she wants to work with her or not. So, because again, if you're getting something for free, why would you pay 4 or 5 figures for it? Especially if you already have said cost is prohibitive for you right now. So sometimes I think we're so addicted to getting to the yes and signing and all of those things that we're not listening. And again, that's what the discovery call is for. Sometimes as new physician entrepreneurs, we were not taught sales, we were not taught marketing, we weren't taught business per se, but we were taught so many different things that we use in our business, and more specifically in sales. And so if we are not truly listening to people, and having a way that we are able to listen to our future and our potential clients, then we are doing ourselves and we're doing them a great disservice by potentially selling to them something that is not going to serve them in the long run, something that they don't want, that they're not ready for, that they know they're not ready for. They want the transformation, they want the result, but right now their circumstance is prohibitive of them getting the result that they are looking for. Another reason why we have a discovery process and institute, either opening the door to having a sales conversation or not, is actually a shortcut. We are not rejecting people because they are inherently wrong or have no value or whatever. They're doing several different things to protect our time, to protect our energy, because a lot of us are still working either part-time, full-time. We're doing some sort of clinical work and growing these businesses on the side. So we need a simple, clear process to make sure that we are increasing our odds of getting the right people inside of our offers, inside of our programs, inside of our opportunities, and actually giving them value and benefits with the right people, with the people that are ready to work with you right now, the people that are really at the starting line, on their tiptoes, just ready to take the race and run it. But they need to have that support inside of your container, inside of your offer. So this is exactly how we talk about sales and how we institute sales processes and sales skills inside of your business, inside of Ignite. And we talk about how to qualify the people that are getting on the call with you, how to guide them through a powerful and effective 2-call sales process and close the best, most aligned clients in our side of our offers without pressure. And we also do this all in 90 days. And this instituting a process like this will help you to close high ticket clients consistently in your business. But if this is the first time that you've ever done something like this before, you'll do this in 90 days or less inside of Ignite. Also inside of Ignite, we review your sales calls with you inside of Sales Call ICU. And that's exactly what it sounds like. If you're thinking about the ICU, that's exactly what it sounds like. We go intensely deep inside of your sales call. We talk about the mindset. We talk about the skills. We talk about what could be better, what could be what you did awesome on. We really go in depth so that you can get better at selling and making money in your business faster. That's the whole reason why we do it. We talk about all of these things and more inside of Ignite. We talk about offer creation. We talk about sales. We talk about launching, all of those amazing things inside of Ignite. So if you are curious and want to join us for the next round or want to ask a question about what is Ignite, is this a good fit for me, DM me the word Ignite on Instagram at Dr. Kimberly B, and let's have a conversation about it. We'll have our own discovery call, maybe in the DMs, maybe we'll jump on Zoom together, but I'd love to talk to you more about what it's like inside of Ignite, and we'll have our own discovery process as well too. So without further ado, it's so great to be back in the saddle, but I've got to go. I will see you on the next episode of the Docs Get Money podcast. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Docs Get Money podcast. New episodes drop every Thursday wherever you find your favorite podcast. Share, comment, follow, and subscribe to the Docs Get Money podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want to know more, visit me, Dr. Kimberly Brown, at KimberlyBrownMD.com, and be sure to follow me at Dr. Kimberly B on Instagram. And until next time, let's go get this money, honey.